Hey guys, it is Matthew Sorgi back with another simple art tutorial that will instantly level up your art skills. So if you're a beginner or a little bit intermediate even, and you're looking to get your creative juices flowing and see some really quick improvement, this video is for you. But before we go any further, I want to say thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. If you remember my last video, I actually took Johannes' fast course titled Basics of Hand-Drawn Animation. And in this single 1-hour course, I learned so much from theory to technique and execution. And the best part was that I was able to apply everything that I learned in this tutorial to my current animation project. I could honestly see my skills improve instantly. So if you're like me and have a wide variety of interests from art to animation to illustration, guitar, or even something like web development, Skillshare is the place for you. They offer thousands of unique courses from actual creatives in their field. And personally, my favorite part is that you can hop on discussion boards and see other classmates' work, which really motivates me to go above and beyond and just learn as much as I can. So the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get a free trial of Skillshare's premium membership. And after that, it's only about $10 a month. So improve in your own craft or pick up that new hobby you've been dying to try and get to class on Skillshare. I cannot wait to see what you guys learn and create. Okay, now we're going back to the tutorial. So this is my favorite signature technique, and the best part about it is that you only need 3 colors, which will also save you a lot of cash. I used to think the best art was made when you had access to every single color, and I used to buy tons of markers, but I actually believe now that the simpler the palette, the better. Setting some creative constraints for your process will really help you think outside the box a little bit and will really save you a lot of cash. Literally, I just buy the same 3 markers over and over again. So like buying 3 markers compared to 100 markers, more money in your pocket. By now you guys know my favorite colors to use are like a nice mustard yellow, a bright deep orange, and then I throw a dark turquoise color in there too. I find these all complement each other really well while giving you a full range of values without ever getting muddy, so long as you're using markers. Personally, my favorite way to use this technique is for portraits. And I'm not even gonna lie, I've been feeling cute today, so I'm gonna do a self-portrait. I'm actually gonna take a selfie right now. You gotta get some better lighting. I'm gonna use this. The better lighting you have, the better, because you'll have more of a range of values. Okay, that was embarrassing, but I think here's the reference photo I have that I'm gonna use. If you want to follow along using that exact reference photo, go for it. But also feel free to use your own selfie. Take one right now and just use that, please. I'm really just gonna be focusing on technique, so you'll be able to follow along with what I'm saying with any photo. All right, with all that being said, I think we're ready to jump right into it. So I'm gonna pull you guys close. We're gonna get on the desk and we're gonna get started. My favorite part about this tutorial, guys, is that we are not going to start with a sketch. We are diving right in with color, and I know that might sound crazy and a little bit out of your comfort zone, but that is what learning and growing is all about. Taking risks and being comfortable not knowing what our end product is going to look like, and focus instead on trusting yourself and the process. So let's start with our mustard yellow color, or whatever you're using as your lightest tone, and with this color we're going to fill in a silhouette of our shape. Now work quickly and loosely. I prefer these Chartpak markers because I can work really fast and make bold lines, unlike a Copic or Prismacolor marker, which is a bit slower because of the brush tip, but they'll work too. You just need a little bit more patience, but just go in and lay a nice flat layer. Next, we're going to take our orange color, or whatever your midtone is, and start to look for our mid-range values. Be generous with this, but also know you can always go back and add more. With basic lighting, you'll find mid-range values on the sides of the forehead, in the eye sockets, under the nose, sides of the cheeks, the lips, under the lips, and under your chin. Now, depending on your lighting, this can change pretty drastically, but this is where I concentrate this value at the most basic level. So for this, still work fast and make quick decisions. This is really all about layering up and slowly tightening our drawing. So the faster you work, the less you'll second guess yourself, which I find makes my pieces much more dynamic and interesting. Confidence is really everything, guys. Believe in yourself. So if you are following the reference photo I took earlier, you can notice where I'm putting these midtone values. I'm really emphasizing the darkness of my hair, my eyebrows, my eyes, and I'm putting in some cast shadows underneath the nose, underneath the cheeks where I'm smiling to get those smile lines in there, the lips, and now I'm throwing a nice cast shadow in the neck region as well to make the face really pop out. So I'm just making some final touch-ups with this orange color, and then I'm just about done with this layer. So now we have something that is definitely looking like a face, but it is still super flat, and we need that third darker color. So for me, I like this nice greenish blue, but you use whatever you want. But now I will say we're gonna have to focus just a little bit more. These marks are a bit more important because they're really gonna define your features, and it's not super easy to take these marks back, but that is okay. We are still going to be confident and do our best. Just like in our other steps, it's still important that you're not tightening up too much and you're still having fun and being as loose as possible while still being accurate. Now this is going to be our darkest tone, so I'm going to focus this color in my hair, my eyebrows, the irises, the corners of the eyes, nostrils, sides of the lips, under the lips, and in that jawline. And of course in my cast shadows under the nose and in the neck. Now, another thing I have to come on here and say is chisel tip markers are the most slept on nib there is. I know everybody likes to reach for the brush tip marker, and when I was younger I did the same exact thing. They're great for blending and they feel a lot better when you're working. But the one thing now I always look for in my drawing materials is the ability to vary my line weight, and these markers do that so well. You can see I'm able to make really thick, bold marks while also making really thin lines, and I really love that flexibility. But just to wrap up this step in simple terms, I like to call it darkening your corners. So some of those essential corners are in the eyes, on the sides of the lips, on the cheeks, and in the nostrils. But yeah, just with 3 simple colors and 3 simple layers, we are able to create something that looks like a face. So now you have an opportunity to make some tweaks. You can go in with your midtone or shadow color and bring things out more if you want. But at this point I was pretty satisfied, which means we can move on to our next step. So now it's the fun part, and it's all about the details. I like to layer my pencil or ink pens on top at the end instead of in the beginning. I think that just really keeps my drawings loose, and I find the process to be much more fun. So let's do it. Grab whatever kind of liner you would like, whether it's a colored pencil, a fine line technical pen, or mechanical pencil. You can really use whatever you'd like. Today I reached for my Muji technical pens in the 0.5 size. I really love these. They have a great ink flow and really vibrant pigments, so they're a great choice. So now I'm going to go in and add all the little details that my thick chisel tip markers weren't quite able to capture. But just like with the markers, I'm making quick, confident marks, and I'm not tightening up. Keep it loose and just define the nice marks you've already made, and don't judge your piece until it's done. Just trust the process. You're really bound to reach an awkward stage at some point, so just push past it and keep going. So for this step, I'm thinking really similarly to when I talked earlier about defining your edges or defining your corners. So I'm focusing first on all my darkest values, which I'm finding at the edges of the eyebrows, in the corners of the eyes, under the nose and the nostrils, the cheeks, you know, those nice smile lines, the dimple, underneath the lips, the top lips, the corners of where your lips meet. You see how it's really dark in there? Underneath the chin, in the eyebrows. You see how I'm just focusing on those corners and bringing out my shadows from there. The other thing I want you guys to keep in mind are the planes of the face. So if you're working in a cross-hatching style like this, you want your lines to emphasize the forms of your face, so follow your natural contours. Literally, you could just start touching your face and observe how your fingers move up and down from your hairline to your chin. Like they go up on your cheeks, they kind of go down by your mouth, and then up again on your chin. To help you guys grasp what I'm saying just a little bit more, I want you to think of a pumpkin. So when you look at a pumpkin dead on, you know you have these straight lines going down, but as you move further left and right towards the sides of the pumpkin, those lines start to curve because of the perspective, which really highlights the form of the pumpkin and makes it look round if you capture it right. So our natural contours on our face work the same exact way, but obviously we don't have lines on our face. But with a cross-hatching style, you're using line as a way to show value, so you really should be emphasizing the contours of the face the same way the lines of a pumpkin emphasize its roundness. So touching your face is really the most basic way to kind of grasp your natural contours, and it definitely sounds silly, but trust me, it is really helpful. But if you really want to understand the face on a more anatomical level, I would definitely recommend looking up muscular structure of the face and the skull, and then you'll really be able to nail this technique. So now that I'm focusing in on the hair, I'll share some really quick hacks to quickly draw hair and also make sure that you're keeping it flowy and not getting too stiff. Okay, so number one, most important thing is that you're looking for chunks. I like to carve out little triangles and squares and all these little irregular shapes that are just really dark values. And then to contrast those larger shapes, you can throw in some really thin lines as well to emphasize smaller hairs. But in my experience, it's really not so great to draw each and every strand. If that's your style, go for it, and you like doing it that way, hey, that's awesome. For this style, that's typically not what I do.
So at this point I was pretty happy with how my red lines were looking, but I decided I needed just a little bit more darkness, so I went in with my blue tactical pen just to define things a little bit further. Like I said earlier in this tutorial, this technique is really all about layering, so don't be nervous putting on some darker values and really defining things further, because that's what's going to give you that definition, which is going to make your image pop. And now for our last step, it's time to bring back our highlights with some white. So there's lots of different ways to do this. You can use a white colored pencil, white acrylic paint, or I really like this white Posca marker. But regardless of the material you choose, you really want to emphasize your lightest values. So taking a quick look at my reference, I found these highlights to be on the tip of the nose, the lip, at the top of my chin, the apple of my cheeks, on the eyelids, on the forehead a little bit. And just like that, you can see how just a couple of marks will really bring your piece together. So at this point, I'm really just being fussy and making small changes that honestly aren't making the biggest difference, but I don't know. I'm just kind of overworking it at this point. That's the other thing, guys. It's really important to know when to stop and when to call your pieces done. It's really easy to overwork a drawing, so don't let that happen. In all honesty, looking at this piece now, it is not the best I've done using this technique. There's definitely some anatomical mistakes. And to tell you the truth, I think the expression looks a little funny, but at the end of the day, I did enjoy the process, and that's really what counts. Not every single piece is going to go exactly how we want, and that's okay. So now I'm just throwing my signature on with the year, and I'm calling it done.
Come here, up here. Yay, yes, yes. Oh, giving me hugs. Oh, say hi. Oh, aww. I think she has to go out. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. Whether or not you guys took your own selfie or you followed along with my photo, I'd love it if you posted it on Instagram or anywhere else. That way I could check it out. So tag me, and I would love to see what you guys come up with. So once again, thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. If you guys are feeling good, you can drop a like, or you can subscribe, whatever you want to do, that's up to you. I also have merch and I have prints. You can follow me on Instagram or TikTok, anywhere. I am there, Matthew Sorgi on all platforms. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you very, very soon. Love you very much. Bye-bye. Say bye, Churro. Oh. Where are you going? Are we going out? Okay, go. Go. Let's go.